Welcome back to Fast Market here on the Schwab Network. It's time for cash tags. For that, let's bring in our next guest. It's going to be Megan Brantley, Vice President of Research at Likefolio. Welcome back to the show, Megan.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, so I think Costco investors have been pretty happy over the last several years. This year, no different. The stock continues to move higher. Last earnings, they missed slightly on revenue. That didn't seem to matter. The stock was down maybe 2 days in a row before hitting all-time highs again going into this report. Are you guys still seeing, positive data on this one?
Yeah, so it seems like these days Costco has everything that consumers want. You can go get a $1.50 hot dog combo. You could pick up one of the best rotisserie chickens around. You can get your tires changed. You can get a bar of gold, right? There's so much that this bulk retailer offers. And just to give scale in our universe, whenever we compare Costco mentions versus Sam's Club mentions versus BJ's mentions, Costco accounts for about 66% of the mention volume. So this is a very loved name by consumers. So that gives us some special insight into the psyche and how things are going. And there are a couple of things that we're watching. One is, typically whenever we come talk Costco, we say we don't have much of an edge because they report sales monthly. And so we already know that November sales were a bit lackluster. Some of this was due, or much of this was due to the shift in the holiday shopping season a week later, which pushed some of those sales into December. And so this is where we actually have a little bit of extra insight heading into this report. And what we can see is a really strong showing from Costco. Whenever we look at web visits to the retailer on a year-over-year basis, the peak holiday shopping season in 2024 versus 2023, we see a really large jump, a much larger jump than we saw in the prior year-over-year comparison, up about 16% year-over-year. So nice showing, a really strong December so far. And so that could be, that's one positive note heading into this earnings event. And another one is when we look at how the hike in membership prices is impacting. Is there any sign of churn? And what we're actually seeing is a large number of consumers who are searching for the membership, the premium membership option, that gold or executive membership that is nearly double the price of its basic membership option. And we see nice growth there, and we don't really see any signs of churn or any signs of cancellation. This is a retailer that has some of the highest retention rates in the business. And so heading into this report, we actually have a bit of a positive lean, a bullish lean for Costco just because of that potentially unexpected strength in e-commerce in that early December week.
Megan, just over 92% is the membership renewal rate, which is unheard of. And that's where they get most of their revenue. It's interesting. Their business model seems to almost be, which makes customers love them, is they basically operate as a buyer on behalf of the customer, right? Their margins, about 14%, are basically just to cover their fixed cost. All the rest is, they get from their membership fees. So the fact that the membership fees have gone up is important for this company. That said, the stock just rallied to $1,007, and so some of that is probably in this name. But as you know, Megan, and your data shows, they are the most beloved and loyal customers and investors anywhere in any stock at any time. So how do we balance those two?
I think that's a really good question. Last time, I think that sales came in a bit weaker than expected. We saw maybe the stock dropped maybe a percentage point after its last report, but has since rallied. And so long term, I think this is one that we are particularly bullish because we actually see signs of improving sentiment. So when we look at this from a happiness perspective, we have happiness levels up 4 points year over year. And for us, that's perhaps the most predictive long-term indicator of growth. So even though the stock is at all-time high, we feel like this is justified. I don't know if we'll see a big move outside of earnings, but long-term, this is a company that is making it a treat for consumers to come shop, and it's also providing that value. And I think that that's really important right now, especially as consumers' budgets are stretched. They're looking for where can they find the best value. And as you mentioned, the curated products, Costco has very unique products. It has a really strong Kirkland own brand that consumers really love. And so these are the things that it has going for it that kind of entice consumers to come shop in its doors versus other players. And that's really important this holiday season whenever consumers are being a bit selective.
Megan, just looking at your data, not surprising, 7-day moving average on web visits. They're really starting to pick that up. A lot of the numbers from last quarter where they missed slightly on revenue, they didn't have a lot of the membership increases in that report yet. Is that like the tailwind that could send us higher? Because, I mean, you look at a technical basis, you look at the 50% gains this year, it seems a little bit stretched here. What kind of score do you have on this one also?
Yeah, so heading into this earnings event, our score is bullish. It's plus 32, which for us, that's pretty solidly in the bullish camp. And it's based on two key things: the membership that you talked about, really strong retention rates, and actually signs of upgrades for consumers heading into that premium tier that's more than double the basic tier. So I think that that's a tailwind that may not be all the way priced in. And then also that strength in this holiday shopping in the month of December. We have those November sales that were a bit lackluster, but we see things shaping up much better in the first week of December and that back half of the holiday season, that peak season, that may also not be priced in. So the bar is certainly high. The expectations are very high, but we expect Costco to put out a nice report.
All right, great stuff. Great data. As always, Megan, appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Megan Brantley, VP of Research at Likefolio, breaking it down.